today, please?
Even though that I did the live session today and talked about some technical things, I actually think that what we talked about today was more fruitful because this is where the rubber meets the road when you're dealing with real risk, when you're dealing with loss and having to work back through that and being content with growth that's modest compared to what you risked and lost. Dealing with trading, where you going in with there's a lot of you know you have mental baggage. You're carrying some toxicity and troublesome things and a cloud of heaviness, and hearing other people communicate that this is what they do to get through it. This is how they confront it, and don't shy away from it. They don't just say, "Well, woe is me. I'm going to feel defeated." They just redirect that energy. They go into exercising, they go into meditation, they do all these types of things and take themselves away from the dwelling on of the negativity because that's not going to lead to good trading. You might get through a trading bout of finding profitability and trusting your model, but if you're a human being, if you have loved ones, if you have people you have to take care of, you're going to eventually hit this wall where you're like, man, I'm going through something. I need to meet a need for them. I need to make something happen for them. I'm behind the eight ball financially. I need some unforeseen expense this came out of nowhere, and I have to take care of this. I'm the only breadwinner, and you're going to start heaping on all of this expectation on yourself, and now you're taking yourself away from what you're really supposed to be focusing on, which is your model, your approach to doing it. You're not trying to over leverage. You're not trying to do more than what's necessary, and take yourself out of a good, sound, sober mindset. Listening to other people, and their thoughts on what they do, what they've encountered, like that. That's what I love about this community. Like, it's not about just let's talk about ICT stuff. I love the human aspect. I love because that's what makes those books, Market Wizards, Volume 1 and 2. The rest of them are shit. Those first two volumes are awesome because you're tapping into how they think, what they endured, their humanity, the things that they cared about. What was the most important thing that they endured or considered while they were doing what they were doing that made them significant enough to be in that book? That to me is what's alluring. That's what's important to me because you can have a very simple strategy and it need not be ICT related. And if as long as you don't risk a lot of money and you control yourself, you can be profitable. But the problem is we don't spend enough time analyzing what our fuck ups are. Where is our problems? We all have them. We all have character flaws, and the ones that say they don't, or they say they completely overcome them, you never do. They're still going to act as mental baggage. You're still just dragging them to change this further behind you, but they're still being dragged by you. And the importance is for you not to collect too much of that because the shit gets heavy. It gets real heavy, and you don't want to be 34 years into your career and think, man, I could have avoided all this extra shit I'm carrying around because I still look at the market and I see things that I remember the last time I did a trade looked like this and I put this much leverage in there. Man, do I really want to follow this? I have to wrestle with that, even being who I am. So it's because of what I've done to myself in the past. So if you do the right things now and make that your procedure, your protocol, that's your process, that's your mentality, that's the way you think, that's your MO, that's what you're going to do. If you make that as positive as possible, reduce the negativity outwardly and inwardly, and try to live a balanced life, so that way you're not going to have this conflict all the time. They have to constantly feel like you have to resolve. It's hard to focus. It's very, very hard to focus when you're risking something like money. You're risking a skill set in the belief system that you're right or wrong, and therefore that makes you profitable. Like you have all these things that you're wrestling inside internally. And when you bring external conflict into that, or you allow or invite that because of your direct influence or someone else's influence over you, it makes trading so much more difficult. And if you're a young person and you have a very busy conflict lifestyle, chances are you're probably not profitable. And that's usually the very first thing you should address. And when you correct that, then you have a lot more peaceful mindset to be able to grow and appreciate where your flaws are so that you can honestly look at them and say, I need to make changes and take this out of my life and remove it because it's not good for me. It's not good for where I'm trying to take myself. It's not good for me to provide for my family because this can make considerable amount of money if I do it correctly. But you're not doing it correctly if you bring toxicity into it. So I think it was a wonderful conversation today, and I was glad to be a part of it.
With that, everybody.